do our warm up for our single leg X to X guard transition. So just really understanding how to retain the guard. When someone's clearing single leg X, we want to get to X guard, right? As quick as we can. Why are you laughing?
I can't.
Not a good demo.
No, I'm
okay,
sorry.
so if I have Rossetti standing over me, there's a lot of different ways and entries to get into X guard and single leg X. We were working single leg X a few weeks ago, but I want you guys to understand just how to be able to move from both guards. They're very much like sisters, so you're going to work them in conjunction. When one gets cleared, you're going to transition to the other. So a great way to be able to drill this is when I have my partner standing over me, this is always the position I'll be able to kind of shoot up my single leg X or X guard. But if I don't do anything, he can just sit right on top of me and mount me. So what I want to do is wrap my arm around his ankle, okay? This is important. Make sure you're wrapping. If you don't, when you do get a single leg X sweep, you're not going to be able to fall right into a clean, straight ankle lock. And I'm telling you, I say this because I'll tell people to do this, and they don't do it, and then they're trying to weave their arm in to get that straight ankle lock, and it's very challenging because that person's going to try and clear and escape already. So I'm just going to keep my hand on my belly. I'm wrapped around. Other hand I'm going to use to like maintain distance and kind of control where Rossetti's stepping, but also as leverage to help me lift my hips because this is a big core movement. So I'm going to push against his leg and I'm going to lift my hips and climb right up, right? So my hips are up and high, my knees are above his knee, I have one heel right at his hip, and my other foot is flared behind his opposite butt cheek. I'm pinching my knees, hips up high. I don't want my foot on this butt cheek of this same leg because then it opens up my knees. When I flare this way, I get a nice pinch, so I'm on the opposite butt cheek. I keep this leg in a straight line. If this foot comes across the center line, I can get DQ'd because that's going to be reaping. So just make sure you're keeping your partner's knee safe and you've got your nice pinch. Rossetti's going to clear my foot. As he does, right away I want to drop down so my shin connects to his leg on the inside of his knee, and then my top foot comes in for the X guard. So my legs should be making an X. My legs and frames are engaged, okay, the shins are engaged, knees are wide, I'm not collapsing my knee on the inside. It's the same top and bottom foot as in single leg X, so it's the same order. So if I'm up here, right, my single leg X, here's my top leg, bottom leg, I drop to X, the top and bottom are the same. If I switch them, that's reverse. Not wrong, but different. We're not working on that right now. So here's our regular X guard. Now, I could work some things from here, but I really want to get like the best ability to off balance him with me being underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the back of his knee, just as a nice grip, kind of shift my hips out, my legs are still engaged. I'm going to circle with my elbow. Okay, I don't want to try and weave my arm in like this, it's going to be funky. So I'm going to weave, or I'm going to circle, around, and then I'm bringing my neck to his ankle. I'm not going to be able to get underneath here and pull his leg up to my neck. Okay, so I'm using my legs against him to shift my body and bring myself next to his ankle. Now I can scooch myself underneath him and then directly underneath for a great X guard position. Now I grab the knee, I bring my elbow to my hip, and I open up his knee. Now, Rossetti is going to try and probably stuff my foot. That's what happens, right? So he's going to stuff the foot again. So right away, I come right back up to single leg X. I worry about the legs first before the arms. If I don't, then I'm not going to have any guard in between us, and he's going to be able to smash through and sit on top of me. Then I can bring this arm back out and then drop. Then I go to the other side. Over here, single leg X, he clears, boom. I want to make sure that I'm really working the transition to connect this bottom leg right away, because if I don't and he clears and I just drop, this is a problem, right? That's where the guard retention becomes challenging. There's no guard there, right? So if he clears, I need to keep my connection. I drop, my legs are engaged, I come in, boom, I'm underneath. He clears or pushes down my leg, right away, back up to single leg X, then I can weave again and get that grip. So it just looks like this. Go ahead. Here, he's gonna push the foot down, back up, boom, other side, clear, stuff, and drop out. So you're doing a single leg X sandwich. Single leg X to X guard to single leg X, drop out, go to the other side. Okay? 2 minutes each, and then we'll switch south and bottom. Ready? 1, 2, 3. When I'm in these positions, and we'll review single leg X a little bit, I really want to focus on the off balance, how we can sweep our opponent, right? So not as much about like the submissions or leg locks, but we really want to understand in these spots how we can off balance constantly and how we can focus on the guard retention. So I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead, get up to my single leg X. So we're gonna just review a couple sweep options from here. So what I'm gonna do with this nice tight grip on his leg, my whole body's attached to his one leg, right? So it's gonna be hard for him to move without feeling that pressure and tension from me on his leg. So I'm gonna lift my hips up first, because I have a really good push-pull connection here. I'm gonna lift my hips up, I'm gonna tilt my knees away from him, and I'm gonna look in the direction I wanna sweep him. Okay, I have to look in that direction to follow through. That's where my body is then gonna follow. Where the head goes, the body follows. If I look at him, at Rossetti, right, it's gonna be hard for me to take him down, right, if I'm just looking straight at him. My body's gonna be conflicted on which way to go. So I lift up, open my knees, and I look in the opposite direction. Okay, so here a few weeks ago we went over our straight ankle lock options, our leg drag option. If you want to finish through here, you can. Put a hand in the mat, shift back, go down, go belly down, or you can release, go for our leg drag, spear, all the way through, and then get to side control wherever you'd like from there. But just remember, when we fall, we still want to make sure we're keeping good control and tension here with our legs. This is distance management, but it's also, I still need to control the guard. If he pushes my foot down, he's gonna wanna push it down right away and start hopping over, coming up, getting on top, closing space, right? So he has an opportunity to get back on top. If I don't come up to my knees or follow through with a submission, I'm not gonna get points for my sweep, okay? In that, like in a tournament setting, okay? If I'm here, I can't stay here, there's still not points. I have to come up. We get to my knees, here would be points. This would constitute a sweep, okay? Also, I don't want to just stay on my back and him come up, you know, if we're just in a roll. So you want to complete the story, okay? So let's look at that again. It's over me. Like I said, we're not worrying about entries right now. We're in the position. I'm gonna go up, tilt my knees away from him, and look in that direction. Boom. Then you can finish however you'd like. Now, let's come back up. Let's go over the double leg, or the double ankle, single leg X sweep. So if I'm here, maybe Rossetti's base is just, you know, super close to me, like his other leg, I can grab his ankle. When it's available, I'm gonna opt to do that versus the single leg X. Somebody's got really, really good base, and he's a little bit wider, and it's hard for me. I'm going for this first sweep option. I can't get it. I'm gonna try and bring my knees to my chest. I need to get him to step closer. If I have a wrist accessible, right? If I can get like a hand grip, I'm gonna grab on it. I'm gonna use that knee to the chest to get him to step. I'll grab the ankle, right? I got the ankle. I'm gonna lift my hips, and this one I can just take him straight back. Now I can go for my straight ankle lock on this side. I can always transition to this leg because I got both legs controlled, or I can just come in and go for my leg drag and come in right up on top. Okay? So anytime I can get both legs, that's gonna be a more dominant sweep and a little bit easier. Okay? Any questions? Give it a shot. 1, 2, 3. we're transitioning to X guard, right? We're here, single leg X. Maybe I can't get the sweep and I just decide I want to go to X guard. I might prefer X guard, great. But if this person is like doing a good job clearing, right? So he's clearing my foot, I'm gonna have to get there, right? That's my plan B, right? Maybe plan A and plan B, whatever, but like I said, they're gonna work together. So I get to my position, I wanna get underneath, and boom, here we are, encouraging this knee to open up so that he can't just sit on my gut. Now, what I wanna do, we're gonna go over two options from here. The first option, I'm gonna take him backwards, okay? The second option is when they really post on the mat and I cannot take them back. They have all their weight in their hands, so that'll be option 2. Both options, I want to lift him up towards the ceiling, meaning I'm getting his foot off the mat and I'm extending him out, okay? So I'm extending my legs to get him to step out. I am not just pushing into his knee. If I do that, that is all that's going to happen, okay? People will try this, that's not what we're doing. I'm going to lift him up. So I lift him up and out. Now I drop my foot behind his ankle and I tilt everything backwards. That's like our X guard tripod sweep. Now, look at this. When I drop my foot behind his ankle, it's like giving me a gift. I'm passing his ankle to my hand. I can come right up. I can get into side control. I can get into cradle, whatever I want, right? If I don't do that, or I don't like that option, or I didn't have my foot there, right, it fell, it's always could be imperfect. I'm gonna grab his heel here, just like we were doing before, and I can pass it. Come up, and we're back in our leg drag. Okay? So let's do that again, a couple more times. Here, I'm just gonna get into my X guard. Time we're in my position, right? Or in our position. I'm gonna lift him up and out. Whoa, there goes Rossetti. That can happen too. I do ideally want to bring my foot behind the ankle, not the knee, just in case they have time when we're standing. That happened pretty quick, right? It can happen very fast when you're off balance. But I don't want my foot to get stuck behind his knee if he bends. So that's why the ankle is definitely a little bit better. I can pass this to myself, come on up, and boom, we're in this side. Okay? We want to see it one more time. One more? Okay. You need to see this or you good? There we go. Just gonna get into X. We're here, up and out. I want to capitalize off of the extension and the off balance. I'm not waiting for my partner to settle in their base to then try and sweep them. That's gonna be really hard, right? So you wanna work off of the momentum of their movement. Even if Rossetti did post forward on the mat, but then started trying to stand back up, that's my timing of when to take him back, okay? So I lift up and out, drop. I'm not trying to stay here, drop. I'm trying to hold him up a little bit, and tilt. Boom, pass, and come on up. That makes sense? Let's give it a try. 2, 3. So I like to call this like the Turkish Getup option or the technical stand-up option. But when they're basing and I cannot bring them backwards, this is what we're gonna do. So still, you know, no matter what, because I don't know how he's gonna react, I'm still gonna lift him up and away. So I lift him up and away. But let's say maybe I tilt him forward, right? Or he just grabs the mat to base, okay? So what I'm gonna do, you can kind of see I'm tilting a little towards my right hip. My bottom foot comes to the knee. So instead of staying behind it, my foot comes on the inside of the knee, to the side of his knee. I'm gonna put my top foot on the mat, but I'm gonna push his knee and build my base to my elbow and my hand. Now, some people, I'm glad Rossetti did this on the first one, sometimes people, depending on that reaction, will get down on their knee. Okay, that's fine. I'm still holding his top leg, pinching it between my shoulder and my neck, right, to keep that control. And now I'm in a technical stand-up position. So from here, I just lift up and I can retract my leg. So here, he's not up that high. So from this point point, I can kind of just fold his leg in. I can come down to my knees, and I can start going to take the back, right? However I want. He's in a turtle position. That's great. Okay, so if we look at it again, this time he stays standing. So we're here. Position, up and out, he tilts. So I'm gonna put my foot, bottom foot, goes to the knee. I'm not pushing myself back. I'm pushing into him so I can build my base. I keep this leg here for distance management until I stand up. I'm gonna stand up. Now, I've got control behind his knee. I can gable grip here or just get really nice and tight behind the crevice of his knee. I'm gonna pull him and then I'm gonna push. And that gets him to kind of twirl and get to his back. So I'm stuffing him. So it's a pull, push, okay? If I just pull, he can walk back on his hands. If I just push, he's gonna walk on his hands, right? But if I pull him and then stuff him, his body's gonna go over his hands, okay? So let's look at that one more time. We can also climb the back from there too. So here, boom, in my spot. I'm gonna extend him out, tilt, bottom foot. I build my base. I get up. I can come here. This is option A. You can gable grip here if you want. I still have a nice pinch. I'm gonna pull. I can also just like trip the leg if I want, but then you can just push right back in. Okay, get him here or get him to the back. He didn't twirl pretty like I wanted him to, but let's do that one more time. Tilt. Here, so pull, and then push. Boom, and then he's on his back. And try and get control as quickly as you can. Stay connected. Let's rewind that. Get back up to your hands. Get on your left foot. If we're here, right, maybe I can just trip his leg out, right? You could do that as well. Or I can just start climbing. I like to kind of fold this in to put a little pressure. Then I can grab his hip, come to his other hip, use my body pressure to weight him down to turtle, and then I can start going in for my back control. Okay, so you have either option. If I do the push-pull, or the pull-push, and he gets to his back, then that'll be a sweep, right? If he gets to turtle, and I start taking his back, then I can get backwards, okay? Any questions on that? You want to see it? Okay, give it a shot. 1, 2, 3.